This is a natal chart reading for Cheryl Elliot by Deb from Queer Astrology. Hi, Cheryl. Thanks for getting the reading. So I'll just jump right into it. You were born on August 13th, 1983 at 3:31 a.m. in Chicago. I like to start out with an explanation of how I look at astrology. You put intention into understanding more about yourself by getting a reading. So that already tells me that you're looking into trying to change and put intention into the right place. That's how I feel astrology is. I don't think it's an exact science. It's about understanding more about your life's journey and the speed bumps you might have or the easy flow moments that you might have. So that being said, I want you to kind of think about your chart as a journey. The houses are the escalator of your life. We're going to go counterclockwise, and these houses show you where something is going to play out in your life. The signs, those are an attitude that you're going to bring into this part of your life. Your house ruler is the sign that's on the cusp of the house going around counterclockwise. The placements, which are the planets, the points, those give you added focus to the attitude within that specific part of your life, the attitude being the signs. So let's start off with the first house of self. It's all the way on the left part of your chart. This is where everybody's chart starts. It's the point of origin. It's basically your earth sign. It's the constellation that was on the horizon at the moment of your birth. The first house is the house of self. The ruler of this house also rules your chart. It's your public face, the filter, how people that don't know you that well would describe you or speak about you. Since you're a Cancer rising, that means that other people are going to view you as very comforting and nurturing. And it also indicates that you probably ignore your own needs. You have Mars here, which is the planet of passion, also your top energy, the things that you like to dominate. And because it's in the first house of self, that's going to give you the ability to go non-stop. Energizer bunny. Now, when we go to the second house is the house of value. Yours is ruled by Leo. They're very extravagant, they're creative, and those are the things that you are going to find value in. And with your sun here, which represents your ego, that's going to give you this need to be valued and understood. When we get to the third house of communication, yours is ruled by Virgo. This means you're very precise and intentional about how you think and communicate. Now you have two planets here. One is Venus, which is your bottom energy, the kind of energy that you like to surrender to. It also represents the things that you love. And in the third house, it brings the need to visually express yourself. So along with the planet of communication that's also here, and this is its home because it's native to the third house, so it gives you an extra power in your ability to communicate. Your fourth house of home is ruled by Libra, meaning that you're going to crave balance in your domestic life. You're going to give a lot, and so you're going to need a home life that gives back. That doesn't necessarily mean people. That just means your domestic life in general. Animals, plants, whatever you feel gives energy back to you. A stellium is 3 or more points in a single house or in a single sign. That makes your home a very sacred space, and you're going to have a deep connection to your childhood. You have 3 points here. The planet that's ruling your emotions, the moon, it's here, which is going to give you an increased emotional capacity. You also have the generational planet of Pluto here, and that's the planet of transformation. In the fourth house, that's going to establish a strong home base for you that gives you a better ability to transform. You also have the planet of restriction here. That's Saturn. And Saturn, it can give you the feelings of a heavy heart, but you can't help everybody. You can, however, help yourself, and the more you help yourself, the more ability you will have to help even more people. When we move to the fifth house, this is the house of creativity and beauty, and yours is ruled by Scorpio. So that brings intensity and sensuality into how you create or into the things that you create. You have 2 placements here, but the placements are in Sagittarius. Now, the planet of expansion, Jupiter, is natively ruled by Sagittarius. So you're going to be very inspirational and original in how you create. You also have the generational planet of Uranus here, and that is the planet of change, rebellion. And yours, since it's in the 5th house, that means you have uncommon beliefs according to societal norms. Your 6th house of routine is ruled by Sagittarius. That gives you a very complimentary act of service. Your 6th also rules health, and Sagittarius is the ruler of your 6th house. So look out for ill health with things like your locomotive apparatuses, like your hips, the loin area, thighs, buttocks, as well as the liver. Now you have a placement here, the generational one of Neptune. It's the planet of intuition, dreams, the unseen. That's going to mean that you're going to look for acts of service in a dreamy and unique way. I want to let you know what Neptune in the 6th house means in accordance to your health. For the placements in general, call to the kind of ill health that one may have. With Neptune, it indicates drug addiction, alcoholism, coma, poisoning, malignancy, hidden illness, drug overdose, drug sensitivity, lower immune system, and misdiagnosis. If there's ever a question about any of that, err on the side of caution. The 7th house of relationships for you is ruled by Capricorn. That's going to give you the need to be really successful in your relationships. Aquarius rules your 8th house of power, and that's the house of death, sex, truth, taboo. This means that you will be intentionally non-traditional in these areas of your life. When we move to the 9th house, higher learning and adventure. That's ruled by Pisces. That's going to make you dreamy about how you go on adventures and how you pursue your education. So you'll probably like to explore things that nobody has ever seen or done before. Now, when we go to the 10th house is called your midheaven, or mid-sky, basically. It represents your ambition, and it's always on the cusp of your 10th house. For you, that's Aries, okay? Now 180 degrees from there, down in the 4th house, is what we call your IC. That's your hidden potential, the roots of where your ambition has come from. Your midheaven, MC for short, is in Aries, and that brings excitement, challenge, action into what you want to do with your ambition. Now it's based in your IC, which for you is Libra, so very social and sacrificing. Now the 11th house is the house of socialization for you, ruled by Taurus, meaning that you have traditionally based ideals when it comes to collaboration. So you want a social group that likes to work through things together. The next placement I'm about to talk about, which is this little key symbol, it's called Chiron. It's the wounded warrior. It represents childhood wounds. And yours is in Gemini. That indicates this need for a very active mind, putting mind over matter. And you're really great at that when it comes to other people. But within yourself, you worry about communicating too much or not enough within your group and your socialization. What's interesting is that when it's in the 11th house, you may have dealt with feeling like you were too different and you couldn't fit in when you were younger, or people told you you didn't belong or you weren't fitting in appropriately. I want to tell you that how you're going to heal from this, find a similarly unique group of folks to help you heal. The 12th house is your subconscious. It's the wise house. Yours is ruled by Gemini, meaning that you may find it hard to stay grounded in reality. You have a placement here in Gemini, and it's your North Node. Your North Node represents your destiny, the potential of your life, your growth. And now this is personal rather than work-oriented, if you will. This is your lessons on how to expand and strengthen who you are as a person. So wherever your North Node is, the South Node is going to be 180 degrees from that. Your South Node is your comfort zone, where you've experienced things, your past life, if you will. A Gemini's North Node destiny wants to be thoughtful and social, but rooted in Sagittarius, you come from a place of having a direct experience or educational understanding. That does it for your points. Let's talk about the aspects, which is how points relate to each other. I'll go through at least one of each of these, but I won't cover all of them. If you want to look these up, please just type, as an example, the first one, Moon conjunction Saturn, and the word natal, Natal afterwards, and you can find out a lot of information about all of these aspects from your chart. I'm going to start with conjunction, which is anything within 10 degrees of each other. They blend together. It's hard to tell them apart. So when you have something like moon in conjunction with anything, your emotions are going to be involved. So if you have Saturn, you might feel a little bit of restriction or hardship with your emotions. That's definitely something you can work through because it's in conjunction to Pluto, which gives you the ability of transforming your feelings. So when you see like something like Saturn in conjunction with Pluto, that means that you're going to have an impactful role on society. Let's jump down to the next aspect, which is sextile. Now, these are 60 degrees or 2 signs apart from each other. They're very cooperative, they're kind of skipping down the street holding hands. I want to cover 3 of these, specifically Mercury sextile your ascendant. And that means you're an information sponge. So you collect a bunch of information, good and bad. With Saturn sextile Neptune, you have a strong belief in who you are. In turn, this can also be hurtful when it's challenged by another person. Now, Neptune sextile Pluto, that has you dreaming of change, and you don't understand when other people aren't on the same boat. When we come to square, now square aspects are 90 degrees apart or 3 signs apart. They're usually in conflict with each other. They're literally squaring up. Moon square your Mars, that gives you the ultimate seducer vibe. So then when you have Moon square your ascendant, that's where your overly sensitive part comes from, because the moon is your emotions and your rising is the public filter. So your emotions are directly connected to how the public sees you. But according to some of these other ones, you're creatively fortunate, you're very independent in your love, and you have powerful assertion. You can sometimes be misunderstood when it comes to your ideals, which makes sense from what we were talking about before, having very non-traditional ideals. And you're competitively independent. There's more independence there. So you're very creative and independent, but loving. When you go to trine, that's 120 degrees apart. Now, these are usually within the same element. They're in sync with each other. They're flowing. They're riding in the car together, listening to the same tunes, dancing, right? Now, you have some sensitive ideals located here, but you have self-made luck. You're very quick-witted. You have confidence and the ability to expand your career with your interesting creativity. That's fascinating. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the gist of it. You have the ability, and you already are very successful in what you're doing. Don't let other people drag you down, and the only person that can help you and heal you is yourself. So know that what these other people say is more of a reflection of who they are, not who you are. I hope that helped, and I hope you're well. Yeah, cheers.